What up? And welcome to Operation Murder It Out. Once again, Milkshake is demanding my attention. Last week I was on my way to work, drove 5 minutes down the street, and I started to smell like this electrical burning smell. And then soon after that, the battery light came on. So turned the car around, went back home, grabbed my other car, and then later on that day after work, I tested alternator output, tested the voltage at the alternator, and the alternator was putting out about 3 volts. So it's time to replace the alternator. I know I'm gonna have to make a little bit of room, so I'm gonna be removing the coolant reservoir. Should be just enough room to get in there and take the alternator out. So I'm gonna start by disconnecting the battery, remove the reservoir, remove the serpentine belt, and then I should be able to unbolt 2 bolts on the alternator and then yank it out. Alright, making some progress. Battery is disconnected. Coolant reservoir has been moved out of the way, and I already disconnected the connector, and that stud broke off. It's Milkshake fashion to always have something break, but luckily that entire alternator is getting replaced, so I'm not too worried about it. Just need to find a new nut. So next I have to get my special tool, get the serpentine belt removed, and then I can proceed to unbolt the alternator. So I did a little bit of extra work here, ended up removing the tensioner so I can get to that bottom bolt. One thing I did not take into consideration is the amount of space that I have to get the alternator out. I'm gonna try to get it out through the top, but I don't think I'll be able to. I may have to jack up the car and quite possibly move the AC compressor to the side, but I'm gonna try to get it out through the top first. Well, alternator's loose, and as I expected, I cannot get it out through the top. So I pull it into my garage at home, and I will have to move the AC compressor to the side in order to get the alternator out. So I'm gonna get this car off the ground and start working on getting the compressor out. All right, so unfortunately, I had no choice but to remove the compressor, but I was finally able to get the alternator out. So the alternator is definitely the problem. The pulley doesn't even turn. So I think it doesn't turn because I may have dropped it on the pulley when I was getting it out of the car. But when it was spinning, it was making a loud, terrible noise. So alternator was definitely the problem. I'm gonna go ahead and put the new alternator in and put the car back together. All right, I am making progress. The AC compressor is back on, alternator is back on, tensioner is back on. Got to put the belt back on. All of my connections are are connected except for the AC compressor. So once I put the belt on, put that connector on, put the reservoir back in place, I'll fire it up and see what it does. All right, car is back together. New alternator is in, looking good. Compressor is back on. Everything is back in place. All of my connectors are back in place. So I'd say this was a success. The last thing I need to do is measure alternator output. I don't have my multimeter on me, but that's pretty much it for this video. So thanks for watching.